I've always had a positive attitude. I probably got that from my dad. He was always a real positive guy. He never got mad about things. He was always very genial, very people-pleasing. I'm not going to just roll over and give up. I've never had super great health, although when I was younger, I didn't really realize it. But I was diagnosed as diabetic in my early 20s. And I probably was that for quite some time. It's a little hard to swallow being diabetic when you hear about family members that had bad experiences with diabetes. Over the last probably 10 years, I kept having different complications and different things come up, and eventually my kidneys started to fail. My sister, without even really talking about it or hearing about it, it was like a foregone conclusion. She told me that she would be donating me her kidney. When she was born, I was very resentful because that baby had to move into my room. But I outgrew that, and she became one of my best friends. And even though we are half sisters, she was deemed to be enough of a match, which was a blessing, a wonderful blessing, because if you have to wait for a deceased kidney, you're on a very long waiting list. I had an experience a while, not too many years ago, where I had a bad septic infection and I did die. But it gave me the feeling of it was peaceful and I wasn't afraid and it was not scary. But when you stop and you think about it, the people you leave behind, then you're teary and you're upset because that's the part that's hard. And so I think that experience made me not feel like, okay, I'm gonna die. I didn't really feel that way. I just was, I think, more upset than anything that this was not a miracle cure. I was in the minority. I didn't realize this, but I just thought that the natural progression was that you would go and get dialysis. You would have to have dialysis because your kidney was failing, and then eventually you'd need a kidney transplant. But the endocrinologist that I had at the time was very proactive, and he said, no, dialysis is hard on your body. So it's very, very hard on your body. So if you can avoid being on dialysis at all, that's what you want to do. Waiting for a kidney transplant is immensely easier. The whole process is so much less stressful when you have a live donor, which I was very lucky to have. How can you feel down or not want to go on when you have that kind of love?